Hi, so this is the next in line in the IDW Classic Collection range. This is IDW's version of the compact comics. Scale-wise, they're about the same dimensions as the Marvel ones, but they're on a much thicker stock, better quality paper, and they're $1 cheaper, and you normally get more pages for your money as well. So they're $13.99. So at the moment I'm trying different eBay booksellers. Not like individuals, but proper businesses. So this one came from a online shop called Bookmail. Normally in the shops, I think these retail for £12.99 in the UK. It cost me £10.25 free postage. Securely wrapped, of course, taken off my address. So let's see if I can open this in one go. No, excuse the scribble on the hands. That's my notebook things to do. And excuse the sniffles and the voice. I'm still having fun adjusting to coming off one of my medications, which was apparently slowly killing me. So there we go. So let's have a look at this. So this is Lock and Key. So it's by Joe Hill, Gabriel Rodriguez and Jay Photos. And as you can see, it's got the trade dress, what they had for Godzilla, so IDW Classic Collections. That's the spine. And that's the back. So it says, Lock and Key was hailed as a modern masterpiece by the AV Club. This new pocket-sized edition collects the first two volumes of the series, Welcome to Lovecraft and Head Games, telling a sprawling tale of magic and family, legacy and grief, good and evil. And it says, acclaimed suspense novelist and New York Times bestselling author Joe Hill, King Sorrow, The Black Phone. I do recommend reading King Sorrow, it's superb. Especially the audiobook. Has created a gripping story of dark fantasy and wonder with astounding artwork from Gabriel Rodriguez that, like the doors of Key House, will transform all who open it. The epic begins here. Following their father's gruesome murder in a violent home invasion, the Locke children return to their childhood home of Key House in secluded Lovecraft, Massachusetts. Their mother Nina is too trapped in her grief and a wine bottle to notice that all in Key House is not what it seems. Too many locked doors, too many unanswered questions. So this collects the two graphic novels that came out. So I think there's about, if they do it in completion, and when I've ordered this, looking at the synopsis on the website, the information that the book publishers have provided for people selling this book, it appears that they will be doing 2 more volumes, which is one thing that they've got. And I love the DC Compacts, as you know. I'm a huge die-hard fan. I try and preach the gospel of DC Compacts, which is something that DC Compacts hasn't done yet. This is something that the only other company that does this is Oni, with the Rick and Morty and Adventure Time books. So if they're going to bring out the other 2 volumes, which complete the story, that is fantastic. So yeah, cover, really, really sturdy. Great cover there. So there you go, frontispiece, Welcome to Lovecraft and Head Games, nothing on the inside. That's your creative teams. Colours by Jay Fosos, Robbie Watt Robbins letters. This is perfect for people who want something to fill the gap that the Sandman left. If, like me, they got put off because of Neil Gaiman, how he's acted. I just can't separate. When I fall in love with a writer and their works deeply, and something bad happens, or a musician, I just can't separate the arts from the person when it's something like that. And unfortunately, that's the case with Sandman, so I had to get rid of all my Sandman books, because when I read them, I could see some of the character traits in the bad guys of what he has now when it's come to light, and it just ruined it for me. So this is a nice replacement. I have read these stories before. I had a digital humble bundle of all the works, but I've really have, since coming back since lockdown, back into big style, into getting physical copies again. Digital comics just don't hold the same appeal anymore, so I'd rather get my favourite books in this format again. So I love the artwork by Gabriel Rodriguez. The last bit of work you'd have seen by him would have been, I think it was the latest issue of Savage Sword of Conan, the black and white magazine, where he did some wonderful, wonderful artwork, and it looks like he's embraced a bit of P.K. Russell into his penmanship now, in style. So this sets the scene. And again, excuse me for sniffling and snuffling. I'm going through it for this past month or so, but this keeps me sane doing these videos. If you've never read Locke and Key, do yourself a favour. Obviously, Joe Hill, if you don't know, he's the son of Stephen King, and he's got Stephen King's storytelling chops, big style. He's just an amazing writer. I love his novels, and I love his comics work as well. He's one of the few novelists who becomes into the comic world who transitions seamlessly into doing comic strips, as this proves. And I like how Gabriel Rodriguez stayed on the creation with him as well. It always adds something to the story. I think the only other novelist turned comic book writer who works as a comic book writer seamlessly was Greg Rucka when he did his first work, which was Whiteout. Before then, he was just a novelist. So as you can see, the art and the paper quality, really, really good. I actually finished reading a compact book last night. I read the Harley Quinn Wild at Hearts book. I'd never read that before, and I'm not the biggest Harley Quinn fan, but with the compacts, I'm buying the ones that I've not got in other versions. You know, that if I've not got it in a deluxe version or a trade paperback or an omnibus compendium or whatever, then I'll buy them. If I've got them in digital, then I'll buy the compact version. So the Harley Quinn one, pleasantly surprised. But this is a real side note, really going off topic here. But if you're not a Harley Quinn fan, buy it. It's laugh out loud funny. It's I knew I'd been safe hands because it's Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor doing the writing. It is hilarious, and I'm surprised they got away with what they did because it's very, very adult, not in the cheesecake style. It's very bloodthirsty, very extreme slapstick, and yeah, I adore it. So I highly recommend picking up the Harley Quinn book if you've been sitting on the fence with that. But let's get back to the regular program now. So this first book basically sets the scene, introduces the characters good and bad as they're settling into this house. What's interesting is what you do see with this in the later book. Gabriel Rodriguez's artwork slowly gets more and more refined. He came out of the gates batting though with this first series, but his artwork just improves so much over time. Even here in the first work, it's wonderful. So just move on to the next one. Do they have a divider? Yeah. So that's where the first book ends. This is where the second one starts. As you can see, as I was saying, there's a huge progression between books in art style. He's lost. Let me just have a drink. Oh dear. Again, I apologise for sniffle vision or sniffle audio. He's lost the cartoonishness in the eyes. It's not as almost like manga-esque like the other one was. Yeah, so anyway, I've been to Aldi today and I'm going to the doctor's on Monday for some tests. So now you know what I've got planned for the next few days. I should have washed it off. Oh dear. Okay. Don't know why that made me laugh, but it did. But as you can see, the art style is just great. I mean, that's very Eduardo Risso, using shadow to create a bigger impact, or silhouette, should I say. Ooh, bit of rumpy pumpy. I'm such a child. I don't know if you watched Locke and Key. If you only know Locke and Key through the Netflix TV series, which was okay, but it's not a patch on this, and it did deviate a lot from what went on in the series. Nothing beats the original source material. The book is so fully formed. He's such a great character. Joe Hill is one of the few writers who can write young kids and make them realistic, where they're not cringe, they're not goody-goody, they're not bratty, they're just kids. It's just wonderful. It's got this weird, like it's like if Stephen King did Narnia kind of thing, that kind of vibe. So it starts off like quite light-hearted in place, and it goes fucking dark, and it's all the better for it. I know this could be blasphemous, but I'm gonna say it's more enjoyable than the Sandman. Sandman, yes, it's a work of art, but oh my god, it's ponderous at times. And I adored the Sandman. I had the full collection. I was like a Neil Gaiman fan, but it was ponderous. It was a chore, especially the first book. But this, straight away from the first issue, gets you hooked. And the use of colour palettes like this for flashbacks, just wonderful. And it shows up really well. I mean, obviously, this is like I said, it's about the size of a Marvel Premier Edition, but the artwork shows up fantastically well. And like I said, the one thing they've got over the Marvel ones, the quality paper, and it's $1 cheaper. And they've got a cover gallery showing all the covers. So if you've been sitting on the fence about maybe trying the IDW ones, you know, if you weren't a big fan of Godzilla, this is a brilliant starting point. Highly recommend it. When I read the book, when I had it in the Humble Bundle, it was a solid 9 out of 10. You cannot go wrong with this. So give it a try. You will not be making a dent in your bank balance. It's like I said, it's $13.99, $18.99 Canadian, or I think it's $12.99 in the shops in the UK. Okay, bye.